To speak to some winners, and I'm going to speak to a player from OG, specifically Ari. Congratulations on the win, Ari. What's your opinion on the series? How do you feel after those 3 games?
Honestly, I don't know how to feel. This was one of the weirdest series I've played in a long time, maybe an entire year. It was a very weird series. I don't really know what's happening, or honestly, I don't understand like a lot of things that are going on in the game, and often that's not like that's very rare that happens. Yeah, really weird, but happy to win.
Well, then you feel very similar to us because we were also confused by a great many things. I guess the one thing that I can get at least is an emotional gut reaction from you. Game number 2, you're tiny. 3 rapiers, 2 Daedalus. How did that feel, having that high net worth on a tiny that started out as a position 4 tiny?
Yeah, I mean, that game, I actually had like an awful game. Like I had no farm, I got no kills, I just couldn't like find anything to get my game going. So I kind of accepted my fate as like a blink, stun, and die kind of cuck, you know? And then eventually we got the 3 pirate hats, and then we start like printing money out of thin air. And I realized like I can easily become a really strong core and like win this game like with my own impact. Like I'm gonna have really strong threat on their throne and really strong team fight threat with the Aghanim. So yeah, I was kind of playing for this, like start hitting the creeps, starting by the Daedalus, and then they start dropping rapiers for me. So I kind of planned this like 30 minutes in advance, but it was really cool that I got to that point after having such a rough game where I just didn't have any gold at all.
And then in regards to the 3 pirate hats, how often do players communicate their tier 5 neutrals? They're like, okay, here are my options. Do you guys all think like, oh, well, we got 3 pirate hat options. If we all take it, then that means that we'll be able to inflate our net worth like crazy. I know Seb had an Arcanist armor in that tier 5 engagement. So how often are you telling each other, these are my options?
I think everyone spoke about all of their options and asked the team what we think we should do. I think one guy had a Book of the Dead and he was choosing between that and Pirate Hat.
Yeah.
But we kind of decided that this was going to be really long, not just 60 minutes. And if we get 3 Pirate Hats or more, then we're going to outscale them really hard, which is what happened. So that's why we have 3 Pirate Hats. We did talk about that. Of course, Arcanist armor is just broken.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember what the other one was.
I think Whisper had a Giant's Ring. Or no, he had a pirate
honestly,
hat.
I think Giant's Ring is like the worst tier 5 item.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. But yeah, we spoke about all of them and made a plan based on it, really.
And the plan came to fruition. You guys got the win in that game. I also got Kazu standing by for a question as well.
Sup, Ari? I have a question about this 90-minute game. So in 90-minute games, there's a lot of downtime, right? Where not really much is happening. Like both teams are kind of just like maybe camping some areas or you're waiting for something. What do you feel like is the most clutch thing you can do in those type of games where there is a lot of downtime? Do you feel like everyone should just do their own thing? Do you have to like really theory craft on, okay, maybe we can all in, get their glyph, buy back, and then do it again after? Or like, what do you think is the best thing to do in these weird ass hell games?
I mean, honestly, it's like both of the things you just said. First of all, you can kind of expect the enemies to be really scared, like sitting in their base, not doing much. So you can pay a little bit of attention to if you think they're going to leave the base, but for the most part they won't, and you can just do whatever you want. Like kind of assuming they won't do something. It's a bit risky, but realistically they won't do anything. So that's one thing. And then also you need to be kind of deciding how are you actually going to win the game. We don't want to be here for 5 hours, right? So
hopefully
in the downtime while we're like doing our thing, farming the creeps, getting the items, we're kind of talking like, how do we actually win this game? And I think it was BZM came up with the idea of kind of him just running down one side, and then the rest of us go down the other side, and he's gonna force glyph and get attention, and then we're gonna run down the trees, and like I'll just bash the throne of 3 rapiers when the glyph goes down. But yeah, you have to. It's both. Like you have to make the plan, and you also have to get the most out of the downtime. Yeah.
That makes sense. And then a couple hours back, after game 1 ended, you know, we like to meme about Seb's speeches because you guys always win like game 2 and then you win game 3. So after game 1 ended, where you played, I think you were Grimstroke and you guys had the Razor mid, game was kind of probably not as good from your side as you would have expected. What happened after game 1? Was there any talk or was it more like, okay, gameplay was bad, move
on? There wasn't really like a speech or anything. It was just like, I think it's kind of like our Shopify series, actually. We just felt like we got really surprised and that resulted in a big outdraft. Like we kind of picked some heroes based on the TB, then they put the TB to +5 even, and then picked the Sven in a really free Sven game. And it's just like completely illegal to have such a free Sven game. And I think that's also what happened in the Shopify series. And they also had OD, which caught us off guard. So I think they kind of just like, it's not like cheese, but they kind of got a surprise pick that outdrafted us and made the game really hard. And then if we just consider that going into the next game, it'll be much easier. We also felt that this Primal was really hard to deal with, and it was like a key hero for them with their playstyle. So if we take out Sven and Primal, then they're going to be picking, you know, like Koto Undying or whatever this useless stuff is that they picked in the last game. So
all right, that makes sense. So they kind of got your ass in game one. Thanks for the answers.
yeah.
And before I let you go, Ari, I know the other panel got a chance to speak to you about your hero versatility. You said that you've expanded it quite a bit since entering the Dota 2 professional scene, but you haven't had to dip into it quite yet. Although right now, your Hoodwink is now getting consistently first phase banned. So are you happy about that, or do you miss playing the Squirrel?
I like the hero, but honestly, the purpose of me playing it every game was to try to force people to ban it first phase.
There we go.
And this opens up a slot in the draft for something else. Like we're going to get some other broken considered hero, let's say Mars Bat, something like that. Like I don't have to play Hoodwink every game. I could like mix it up for fun. But if I pick it every game, then people will feel like they have to ban it, and that gives us a really big draft advantage. So honestly, that's the reason why I overdid it, I guess. Even though I do like the hero, so. Yeah, I like it, but I'm a bit bored by now, so they can keep banning it if they like.
Mission accomplished in that regard. Although I think you're underselling yourself. They're also selling it because they're also banning it because you're winning on it a lot, and that warrants a ban, I'm sure. Ari, you seem exceptionally calm after such a thrilling series, but I'll let you reflect on it with the rest of your team. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck in the last 2 days of this group stage.
Thank you.
Catch you later, Ari.